What is the main function of a neuron? A. To store energy. B. To transmit information. C. To regulate body temperature. D. To produce hormones. B. To transmit information. Neurons are specialized cells in the nervous system that transmit information in the form of electrical signals. Which part of the neuron receives signals from other neurons or sensory receptors? A. Dendrites. B. Axon. C. Cell body. D. Myelin sheath. A. Dendrites. Dendrites are the branched extensions of a neuron that receive signals from other neurons or sensory receptors. What is the long, slender extension of a neuron that carries signals away from the cell body? A. Dendrites. B. Axon. C. Cell body. D. Synapse. B. Axon. The axon is a long, slender extension of a neuron that carries signals away from the cell body to other neurons, muscles, or glands. Which part of the neuron contains the nucleus and most of the cell's organelles? A. Dendrites. B. Axon. C. Cell body. D. Myelin sheath. C. Cell body. The cell body, also known as the soma, contains the nucleus and most of the cell's organelles, including the endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. What insulating substance speeds up the transmission of signals along the axon? A. Neurotransmitters. B. Synapse. C. Myelin sheath. D. Nodes of Ranvier. C. Myelin sheath. The myelin sheath is an insulating substance that covers the axon of many neurons, speeding up the transmission of signals. What is the small gap between neurons where neurotransmitters are released? A. Dendrite. B. Synapse. C. Axon terminal. D. Node of Ranvier. B. Synapse. The synapse is the small gap between neurons where neurotransmitters are released from the axon terminal of one neuron and received by the dendrites of another neuron. Which type of neuron carries signals from sensory organs to the brain and spinal cord? A. Sensory neuron. B. Motor neuron. C. Interneuron. D. Reflex neuron. A. Sensory neuron. Sensory neurons, also known as afferent neurons, carry signals from sensory organs to the brain and spinal cord. Which type of neuron carries signals from the brain and spinal cord to muscles and glands? A. Sensory neuron. B. Motor neuron. C. Interneuron. D. Reflex neuron. B. Motor neuron. Motor neurons, also known as efferent neurons, carry signals from the brain and spinal cord to muscles and glands. What is the role of interneurons? A. To carry signals between sensory and motor neurons. B. To regulate body temperature. C. To store energy. D. To produce hormones. A. To carry signals between sensory and motor neurons. Interneurons, also known as association neurons, carry signals between sensory neurons and motor neurons within the central nervous system. What is the term for the electrical signal that travels along the length of the axon? A. Synapse. B. Action potential. C. Neurotransmitter. D. Resting potential. B. Action potential. An action potential is the brief electrical signal that travels along the length of the axon when a neuron is activated. What is the resting membrane potential of a neuron? A. -70 mV. B. +40 mV. C. -90 mV. D. +70 mV. A. -70 mV. The resting membrane potential of a neuron is approximately -70 mV, indicating a negative charge inside the neuron relative to the outside. Which ion plays a key role in generating an action potential? A. Sodium. B. Potassium. C. Chloride. D. Calcium. A. Sodium. During an action potential, sodium ions enter the neuron, causing depolarization and the generation of the electrical signal. What is the term for the brief period of time after an action potential when the neuron is unable to generate another action potential? A. Refractory period. B. Resting period. C. Depolarization. D. Hyperpolarization. A. Refractory period. The refractory period is the brief period of time after an action potential when the neuron is unable to generate another action potential due to the inactivation of sodium channels. Which neurotransmitter is associated with mood regulation, sleep, and appetite? A. Serotonin. B. Dopamine. C. Acetylcholine. D. GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. A. Serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that is associated with mood regulation, sleep, appetite, and other functions. Parkinson's disease is associated with the degeneration of neurons that produce which neurotransmitter? A. Serotonin. B. Dopamine. C. Acetylcholine. D. GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. B. Dopamine. Parkinson's disease is associated with the degeneration of neurons that produce dopamine, leading to movement difficulties and other symptoms. Which part of the nervous system controls involuntary functions such as heart rate and digestion? A. Central nervous system. B. Peripheral nervous system. C. Somatic nervous system. D. Autonomic nervous system. D. Autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system controls involuntary functions such as heart rate, digestion, and respiratory rate. Which part of the nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord? A. Central nervous system. B. Peripheral nervous system. C. Somatic nervous system. D. Autonomic nervous system. A. Central nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord and is responsible for processing and integrating information. Which type of cell provides support and insulation for neurons in the nervous system? A. Neurons. B. Glial cells. C. Neurotransmitters. D. Nodes of Ranvier. B. Glial cells. Glial cells, also known as neuroglia, provide support and insulation for neurons in the nervous system. They play essential roles in neuronal function and health. What is the function of the nodes of Ranvier? A. To produce neurotransmitters. B. To store energy. C. To regenerate axons. D. To speed up the transmission of signals along the axon. D. To speed up the transmission of signals along the axon. Nodes of Ranvier are small gaps in the myelin sheath that speed up the transmission of signals along the axon by allowing for saltatory conduction.